we've got a diverse range of entities that have come into that, from the identity space, in digital assets. So a real demonstration of how successful innovation from this region is on the global stage.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Visa Spotlights podcast series. Today we're going to look at the exciting and vibrant fintech ecosystem across the Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa region. In Visa, we often say that the pace of progress within payments has been greater within the last 5 years than in the previous 50 years. And there's no doubt that fintechs, particularly in our region, have been a real enabler and accelerator for that growth. Joining me today is Godfrey Sullivan, who's Head of Products and Solutions for Visa across the CEMEA region and is working day in and day out with many of the most exciting fintechs across the region. Godfrey, thank you so much for joining us today.
A great pleasure to be here, Dan.
I just touched on the fintech scene that we have across CEMEA. Perhaps you could give a bit more perspective in terms of how the scene looks today, but also how it's emerged and grown so much over recent years.
Yes, indeed. So the fintech scene has gone through a lot of changes over recent years, but it is still incredibly vibrant. As we look across the CEMEA region, there are some really interesting highlights. In Africa, for example, Nigeria is really leading the way with the most number of fintechs, the greatest investments across the continent. And then you have South Africa with very vibrant scene. Substantial investments have been going into the South African market as well. And then there's Kenya, which has a long history of fintech, deep fintech penetration, particularly in the mobile money space. And then in Egypt as well, where we're seeing lots of innovation around digital banking and financial inclusion. And I could go on across Africa, whether it's in Morocco or Senegal or Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana or Tanzania or Uganda. Even Zambia, there's a bubbling fintech scene. And they go to the GCC. The GCC has a great regulatory environment for fintechs. And we've got about 1,000 different fintechs from across the region here. And then only last week I was with our CISC team. And similarly, we have a very buzzing fintech environment there. Super tech-savvy developments, pushing the bounds of digital banking and payments. And I think a couple of the interesting things is we see the fintech scene stretching across payments and lending and remittance and digital identity and gaming, but with solutions in CEMEA that are really attuned to the local market needs. These are not global plays that are copycats in the region. This is really honed and tuned to what the local communities want. So it's really exciting to be a part of.
It's very interesting. What do you think are some of the key elements that have sort of driven that growth and built these vibrant, buzzing fintech ecosystems in the countries that you mentioned? What has sort of led to that? Because it really does feel in CEMEA there's significant investment and huge numbers of fintech startups emerging.
I think one of the big underlying drivers is there's just still significant payment problems that need to be worked through. Across the CEMEA region, cash is still used in many countries. There's about $2.2 trillion of cash transactions across CEMEA. And this is a great opportunity for digital innovation. And the fintechs, many of them I mentioned, are looking at these problems for end customers, problems for merchants, and coming up with really clever, innovative solutions, again, tailored to the local needs. And I think you're seeing the investment community and others respond to that, where these are real customer problems that are being solved. This is a good opportunity for the investment community to invest and help grow these fintechs.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we've seen is some of the fintechs are solving market-wide or country-wide challenges. But as you said, and I'm sure we'll sort of get to this later, some of the fintechs are also looking at very specific problems, which could be industry or specific audience-based, which they're solving for. So there's lots of diversity in terms of the solutions which people are developing, which I think is interesting. So we obviously have a big focus, and I think Visa's partnership with fintechs and digital partners has continued to sort of expand through the years. Could you just give a bit of context in terms of why this is such an important focus for Visa in the region?
So on Visa, we're kind of on a mission, as you know, and this is to empower communities across the globe, both on the consumer side and the merchant side. And we see fintechs as a really integral part of our broader mission. And the work that we've been doing at Visa stretches across a whole range of different activities. So we have the Fintech Fast Track, which is essentially a way for fintechs to easily integrate to Visa and benefit from much of the scale that we have, the security that we have in our platforms. We have the Visa Ready to Launch program, where we've partnered with a number of processors and financial institutions to essentially be a one-stop shop. So if you're a fintech coming, you see a problem in a particular segment, you can very quickly ramp up, connect with a payment processor, with a BIN sponsor, and be ready to go in a matter of weeks. That's a really important innovation. And then we have the Visa Everywhere initiative, which has been going since 2015 globally. We have helped to accelerate literally thousands of fintechs by bringing them greater recognition, greater access to funding. And the fintechs that have been through the Visa Everywhere initiative have managed to secure $48 billion of funding since its inception. Really tremendous. And then, of course, most recently, we've launched the Africa Fintech Accelerator. We've gone through 2 cohorts, and it's something we can dive into in greater detail. But our next step in this kind of long history and journey of supporting the fintech community.
Excellent. So I think we're now around 18 months on from when we first announced the plan to launch the Visa Accelerator program in Africa. And it's been quite a journey so far, and met some amazing businesses through it. Could you give a bit of perspective in terms of sort of how that program was created, what we were trying to solve, and how that sort of sat alongside other initiatives, and where we are today, 18 months on?
So one of the observations that we had as we were setting up and working through the Fintech Everywhere initiative is there were lots of fintechs who were coming to us to partner with us, but they still needed to ramp up on lots of the mechanics of running the business, integrating with other parts of the payments ecosystem, working with the regulatory environment. And so it was out of this that the Africa Fintech Accelerator was born. And I think the unique thing about that is that we have a 3-month program which brings in industry experts from the payments ecosystem, from Visa, from past founders, from VCs, from regulators who work with these fintechs and explain to them how to be successful. What was their journey? What are the challenges that they'll face, and how will they overcome? And it's particularly good because you have access to all of this expertise, but there's also a tremendous community that has built up within each cohort. So fintechs exchanging ideas, partnering with each other. And we've seen this as a really meaningful evolution. It's also very exciting because from our point of view, we're looking at these fintechs, the most interesting ones, the most relevant to solve these customer and merchant pain points are the ones that we're deciding to invest in together with our partners on the Fintech Accelerator.
And I know that's a big part of the program, and one of the big sort of differentiators, I guess, from other initiatives that we have underway. I know that we recently announced a first set of investments in some of the fintechs that participated in the first group of the Accelerator program. Could you tell us a bit more about those investments and the companies that we chose to invest in, and why?
Yes. We've had an incredible response, frankly. As we speak to some of the leading VCs across the region, they're coming to us and they're saying, listen, the Visa Africa Accelerator is one of the primary sources of pipeline for us as a VC investing in Africa, because we know the firms that have been through that selection process and that acceleration process are just really good, interesting firms. And indeed they are, and we are investing in them. So there's a couple of, there's 4 specific investments that we have made recently. The first of these is Oze, which is based in Ghana and has a really interesting way of solving the challenge of lending to small businesses. So they work with banking partners and provide not only a small business banking application for those banking partners so that businesses can do their day-to-day transactions, accept payments, etc., but they also support a corresponding loan management system within the bank so that the data that comes from the payment activities and the other activities of the SMEs can feed in to help the bank decide on the lending that they give to those small businesses. So super innovative solution, really looking into the problems of small businesses and the challenges that banks have in lending to them. Then there's a super interesting company in Nigeria, OK High, which is also solving a real challenge for the banking community it's a simple problem, but it's verifying the address of their customers, which might seem a very simple thing to do, but across the African continent, where you don't always have a traditional address and postal system, it's a real big challenge. And so they're using the latest in mobile technology and identity to provide a really practical solution to banks on that very specific problem. And we think that's got applicability across many markets, both on the African continent and globally. The third one, which is, I'm excited about all of these. So the third one, which is really good, is solving the problem of payroll. And it's a company based out of Kenya called WorkPay that provides a cloud-based solution to businesses to make the payroll system just far more efficient, which is great for us because it's the first stepping stone in the digitization of cash. And then finally, in Nigeria again, there's Order, which is solving the problem for the 3 million quick service restaurants and food outlets across Africa that need to manage the end-to-end daily logistics and payments for their business, whether it's booking locations, partnering with suppliers, managing the payments. Order provides a full digital platform for these small restaurants, and it's seeing tremendous take up. So another one which is really exciting.
Fantastic. So if I think about the program, we first announced and launched the initiative in Morocco in May last year, I believe. And then we met many of these businesses as part of the cohort 1 during the first demo day in Nairobi back in February. And we're just coming up to the demo day for cohort 2, which is taking place in Cape Town. So we're working our way sort of down the continent. What happens at a demo day? What's in store for the 20 or so fintechs that are part of cohort 2, and they'll experience at the beginning of December?
The demo day is really the climax of the Accelerator program. The one coming up in Cape Town, I think, is going to be really special. And it's an opportunity for the fintechs to take all the learnings that they've had over the previous 3 months and bring that together in a presentation of their solution, not only to the Visa representatives, but also to a selection of the leading VCs and private equity investment firms from across the continent. In Cape Town, we're doing it just before the Super Return Africa conference. So everyone's going to be in Cape Town that matters. And it's a fantastic opportunity for the fintechs to really pitch their businesses and share their successes today and their future aspirations with the broader investment community. And it's also fun. We have a great time together. It's great to make these connections, which, as we're seeing, last for many months and hopefully for years in the future.
Fantastic. And so while investments are being made in cohort 1 and we're gearing up for cohort 2's demo day, cohort 3 is also underway, right? And so could you talk about where in the process sort of cohort 3 is and how the initiative will begin for them?
Indeed. So we're just starting cohort 3. I think one of the big things for me has been the role of female entrepreneurs. So in our first cohort, we had about 43% of the fintechs onboarded had female entrepreneurs in the leadership team. That moved up to about 65% in the second cohort. And in cohort 3, it's 85% of the fintechs have female members in the leadership team, which is a really big deal, something that is very important for us. As you said, those fintechs are just beginning the journey. The third cohort is going to end in March of next year, and we've got a diverse range of entities that have come into that from the identity space, in digital assets, and we're very excited and looking forward to that future demo day as well.
Fantastic. Well, there's obviously lots of exciting stuff happening within the Accelerator program and also the other programs you mentioned. We're very proud that within Visa Everywhere initiative, a winner from across our region has won the global competition in 2 of the last 3 years. And this year, our regional CEMEA winner also won the audience favourite vote on the global stage. So there really is truly impressive entrepreneurs and businesses which are driving this forward.
Yeah, I think that's really important point. This is not only about demonstrating the success within the CEMEA market of fintechs, but globally. As you said, for the last 2 years, the winner of the Visa Everywhere initiative has been the global winner. And this year, there's a fascinating company, Gamergy from Jordan, that won the Global Audience Award at the global Visa Everywhere initiative. So a real demonstration of how successful innovation from this region is on the global stage.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for joining us today, Godfrey, and talking through all of the great work which fintechs across the CEMEA region are doing, and which Visa, we're very proud to be partnering with them on. And obviously it's going to be continued exciting times moving forward with the demo day coming up and the cohort underway and the next wave of the Visa Everywhere initiative as well. So thank you again. Hopefully you'll join us soon to talk about the next wave of investments, the next wave of success.
Indeed, I look forward to coming back soon, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you so much again for joining and listening in today. Hope you've enjoyed the discussion on the fintech community across the CEMEA region and how Visa is continuing to work with them as part of that ecosystem. If you'd like to find out more about the Visa Accelerator program, please visit visa.com where there's lots of information, and please get in touch with your local Visa representative. If you'd like to continue listening to these podcasts, please subscribe on your favorite podcast channel, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.